Good morning, everybody. I'm Letitia with Letitia.com. I'm an astrologer and numerologist and tarot reader. And today I want to talk about deception, a person who is prone for deception in their natal chart. So a person who is prone to people coming into their lives and pretending to be something that they are not is oftentimes seen through Neptune placements. So you may hear in the background as I'm doing this video, you may hear my little grandson in the back. He's playing. I've asked him to kind of keep it quiet, but he is 5, so you may hear him in the background. But just to let you know. So when we talk about Neptune in the chart, Neptune placements in the first house, the fourth house, the fifth house, the seventh house, and the 10th house are some of the most challenging placements to have Neptune in the chart, for not being able to see clearly who people are. And in the first house, oftentimes we don't see who we are. So when we talk about, there is a lot of conversation on the table now about narcissistic abuse, and codependency. If you study that particular type of abuse, it entails the narcissist is a person who is coming into the life of a man or woman who has been groomed from childhood with people who made them not trust themselves. That's the thing. So the person with the hard Neptune placements oftentimes does not trust themselves. They don't trust their own intuition. They don't trust their own voice. And when you have that situation, people can come into your life and they can deceive you. They can look like they are safe. They can look like they love you. They can look like they have your best interests at heart, but they don't. So when we have Neptune is this, that is the planet who is the modern ruler for Pisces. So Pisces too, when you have someone who has a lot of Piscean placements, or if you have a partner that has a lot of hard Neptune placements in their chart, they could be a person who is very manipulative and can be very deceptive. So we're talking, Sun square Neptune, Moon square Neptune, oppositions to Sun, Moon to Neptune. You have this person who can be extremely charming. They can be so loving and tender and attentive, but sometimes it can be a facade. If the person has not healed themselves, if you have not healed, because when we pay attention to our intuition and we pay attention to what we are really seeing, we really know, we really have received the signs from the beginning. But when we are people who were children, who had parents who either neglected us or they abandoned us or rejected us, then oftentimes love can look like pain. Love can be very deceptive. So I'm going to break this video up into several different parts so that I can post it on Instagram, and then I can post it on YouTube and Facebook. So it can't be too long, can't be more than 10 minutes for Instagram TV. So I want this information to get out there so that you can look at your chart and then we can see what we have. So I'm 4 minutes in right now. So when we say Neptune, so Neptune is this very planet that is very ethereal. Okay. So it is in the clouds. It is not about practicality at all. It is what is behind Cinderella, right? It is this idea of Prince Charming is very Neptunian, that someone would come in and be the savior. All right, that someone is going to swoop in on a horse and in a Maserati and what is the movie? Pretty Woman. So Pretty Woman is this movie that, you know, if you see it, she's a prostitute and she is brought in off of, you know, she comes, she meets a guy, he's super rich, he wants sex with her, he has it, he falls in love with her, and he rescues her from her life of prostitution. That's the type of dreaminess that Neptune in hard placements, first house, fourth house, fifth house, seventh house, 10th house, can have us thinking. Wherever Neptune is, there is a fogginess that comes. But when you have it in this placement, in those particular houses of life, they bring the most challenging aspects to us. Neptune in the first house can definitely bring people to us, because the first house represents the self. It represents like the body. It represents the first part, the first understanding of yourself. So with Neptune in the first house, oftentimes you don't see the people who are coming to you, and you want to believe the shining stories that they tell you. You want to believe that this person is coming in and they are really, really loving, and they are really, really kind. And so, and then a lot of times we don't see ourselves clearly. There is a mask that we can see ourselves through, because perhaps we may have had parents or people who in our upbringing who could not see themselves clearly. They could have been people who had gone through abuse, and when you have another abused person, oftentimes they cannot give you the love and tenderness and kindness that you need. And so as a child, during the early development years, first through seven, that's when we are really being molded, and when we are really being trained as to what love is, what the world looks like, what foundation is, what truth is, who we are, you know, establishing who I am and my place in the world. And if you have a parent who did not understand their place in the world because they have been abused, which oftentimes that's what it is, you know, they have been abused, and then it just trickles down. It trickles down. The cycle just continues on and on and on. So first house, you don't see yourself clearly, and so people are coming into your life oftentimes because you are vibrating on that level. Because of how you see yourself in the world, people come into your life to bring you what you see. So first and seventh house, the seventh house is the opposite of the house of others. The first house is the house of self. So Neptune in either one of these places can bring you great deceivers in partnership, marriages, business indigestion, business partnerships, any kind of partnership that there is. The seventh house is the hardest place because it represents everybody else that you come in contact with. So first house, seventh house, that particular axis, you know, I have this card here, and this is from the African American Tarot deck. And this is the Five of Wands. And in the traditional deck, the Five of Wands is not depicted like this. And to me, this is hard Neptune aspects in these places that I said, first, fourth, seventh, 10th, in a nutshell, because it is the card of the chameleon. So the Five of Wands is typically all about, I'm watching my time. I have 1 minute left and then I need to cut it. So let me just hurry up. The Five of Wands is typically all about fussing and arguing and people being into it and people having at each other's throats. Well, we can see at the top where they show like the ancestor portion of it, there is fighting and fussing. But the reason is because the person is being a chameleon. They are not who they really say that they are. They are pretending to be something that they are not. And this is what you oftentimes have. But the people come in and present themselves as wonderful, as kind, as loving, as here for you, as down for you. But they are wolf in sheep's clothing oftentimes. Okay, I'm going to end this here, and then I'll put up the part 2. I'll continue on.